Here we go. It's 7:34. This is the 7:34. I am Jason DeRusha. Great to be with you today. So we bring you up to date on the latest local digital news and talk about a couple of things that hopefully get you thinking and get you talking for the rest of the day. Let's talk about the weather first with your 7:30 forecast. No rain today, which is nice. Wet enough from yesterday, right? But the weather's not going to be that great. It'll be gray, cloudy, a little bit of sun will pop through, but 60 is as good as it gets, which is a little bit below average. I don't know, all in all, kind of a Wednesday sort of day. Things turn up over the next 4 days, I would say. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all look pretty good to me. So some nice weather right around the corner. Let's get talking about this. More than a dozen restaurant owners in Prior Lake are saying, we want to reopen. We want to be first. We'd like to be a test so we can try to see what works and what doesn't, and then the rest of the state can roll things out. Interesting idea. They wrote a letter to the governor saying, we want to be the test sites. Here are our initial ideas, how we would sanitize, how we would maintain social distancing. Instead of saying, well, you got to be at 40% capacity, they would say, let's kind of measure things out and see how many people you can fit in with safe social distancing. Prior Lake city manager, city council, the mayor, everybody said, yep, this sounds good. Local lawmakers, too. But we want to know how you are feeling about this. It's one thing for restaurants to reopen, and this is true for any part of the economy, right? The salons that are going to reopen in Wisconsin perhaps today, different things like that. Will you go? How are you feeling? Do you think it's time to slowly reopen things? Let us know on our Facebook page. Leave a comment. We'll share through some of your thoughts in a moment. Governor Tim Walz is taking a trip to southern Minnesota today. He's going to go to Worthington, the home of the JBS meat processing plant. Meat processing plants in the center of the national headlines today. President Donald Trump signed an order late yesterday ordering meat plants to stay open. The reality of this is the order provides cover. Some cover from liability concerns should there be an outbreak in a workplace. JBS shut down a week ago because of a COVID-19 outbreak. Now the plant's more than 2,000 employees could soon come back to work. Those safety concerns still there. The union asking for PPE, asking for guidance from administration before returning. Lots more talk on this to come today. More people in Wisconsin, as I mentioned, going back to work today. The governor's order allows some non-essential businesses to reopen if they can offer services without customer contact. So, for example, if you're a dog groomer, you could reopen. If you were a lawnmower repair shop, you could reopen. Places that rent outdoor recreational vehicles like a boat rental or a kayak rental, they can reopen today. The governor also ordered 34 state parks that were closed to reopen on Friday. Wisconsin did extend their stay-at-home order. It's in place until May 26, but we're seeing this slow reopening in Wisconsin. This likely not the headline Mike Pence was, well, I don't know, maybe he did want this headline from his Mayo Clinic visit. He is getting criticized for not wearing a mask during his visit yesterday. Hospital policy at Mayo Clinic is that all visitors have to cover his or her face. So what's the deal? Here's what the vice president told our Esme Murphy.
In my role as vice president, I'm tested for the coronavirus every day, and literally everyone around me is tested on a regular basis.
Mayo Clinic said it told the vice president's office about the mask policy before he arrived, but we see something. Both the vice president and the president have gone without masks. Perhaps deciding that the public image of a president or vice president with a mask is something that their supporters or their country doesn't want to see. State health officials did expect more testing does mean more confirmed cases of COVID-19. I will say, it's not like there's been an explosion in testing, but Minnesota has been doing a lot of testing near those meatpacking plant outbreaks. 365 new positive cases, by far the state's biggest one-day spike. Health officials said don't freak out about it. It's nothing to be worried about, but it does reflect that focus on meatpacking plants. There are now more than 4,000 known cases of the virus in Minnesota. 301 people have died. Wisconsin, more than 6,000 cases, similar death toll there. The United States has hit a grim number as a whole. Now more than 1 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 nationwide. It's about a third of the worldwide total. We're a big country. There are a lot of people here. Not a super surprise. But in a tweet overnight, President Trump said, hey, the only reason we've reported 1 million cases is because our testing is so much better than any other country in the world. Other countries way behind us in testing and therefore show far fewer cases. I suppose I'd be more interested in a per capita comparison. 1 million cases doesn't mean a lot to me. Britain's Boris Johnson has become a new father just days after recovering from the coronavirus. What a story, because Boris Johnson was essentially on his deathbed. Things were looking terrible for him. He's recovered. He and his fiancée welcome a baby boy this morning. Johnson only came back to work on Monday. He spent a week in the hospital with COVID-19, where it was at one point looking very touch and go there. Minnesota craft brewers, the restaurants have gotten a lot of attention, but the craft brewers are saying, hey, we are pouring money down the drain. Tap rooms have been closed for a month. That's the #1 source of revenue for most of your local craft beer breweries. Restaurants being closed means they can't sell draft beer anywhere. So all they can do is sell cans at retail if they have shelf space, or crowlers and growlers in their brewery. Minnesota law doesn't allow them to sell a 4-pack or a 6-pack on site. So the Craft Brewers Guild is saying, hey, if the state doesn't kind of give us a little exception, the same way restaurants have been allowed to sell beer and wine, 60% of craft breweries could be forced to close. Minnesota, by the way, the only state in the country that allows craft breweries to sell beer from the tap room, but doesn't allow 12 and 16-ounce cans. I'll tell you who is not in favor of this: liquor stores. Don't expect a lot of enthusiasm for this idea from them. A pug in North Carolina has tested positive for COVID-19. Winston! First dog in the U.S. with the virus. 3 members of the dog's family tested positive too. CDC has now extended social distancing guidelines for pets as well, which does not mean you need to keep your pets 6 feet apart. It does mean if someone in your family has COVID-19, don't snuggle up with the dog, because this appears to be being passed from humans to pets. Incredible video from New York City. What a tribute for medical personnel, first responders, and other essential workers. Take a look from inside the cockpit. One of the Navy's Blue Angels, the Air Force Thunderbirds. These jets flew in formation over New York and Newark around noon before heading to New Jersey and Philadelphia. Blue Angels flight leaders said they were honored to salute those working on the front line of the COVID-19 response. Some criticism like, what a waste of money for this. These guys do have to do training missions, so usually they try to have that lined up. Okay, we were thinking about this. Those kids with the hockey hair at the state tournament. You know, all of us, like, I'm putting like a lot of stuff to try to keep this from being like that. But the hockey hair heroes, the men, the young men of the mullet and the flow, take a look. We wondered, how are they? No salon. Did they just let it happen? You bet they did. Whoa. Oh my goodness. The Game On Minnesota people who produced that annual video did a follow-up. That's good journalism. It's what it is. You got to follow up. You can't just do the story, let it drop. These kids are not complaining about not going to the salon.
I'm Rowan Hightower from Blake. A situation, it's a little bit long. Haven't got it cut since the tourney. Don't plan on getting it cut either. Something I've been doing to pass the time during quarantine has for sure been playing some video games, just letting the hair go.
Just doing this.
He was asked to explain.
Don't be mad at the kid. He was asked, but still, like, come on, man. Like, it is a waste. I do feel like my 14-year-old, we were talking about this yesterday, he's got very long hair right now. And I said, you know, if the salon's open next week when the stay-at-home order is over, will you go get your hair cut? And he said, no, he just wants to let it grow. I'm like, well, you know what? Here's your future. So you may as well enjoy it while you got it. That's what I say.
Jealousy. Pure jealousy.
It's fine. I am totally jealous. I mean, I paid good money to have this hair put back up here, for goodness sake. So enjoy it while it's there. Look, oh my gosh, look what I've done. The hair is, like, this is the reality. Like, if I wasn't shellacking it down, it's gross. Just gross. All right, Eric, we're talking. The talker today is about whether you go back to restaurants, going to get your hair cut. It's in that same vein. So
well,
weird.
you don't need to get a haircut. You do need to eat.
Well, but people have food at home, right? You don't have to go to a restaurant.
Yeah. I know how to cut my own hair.
I think this Prior Lake idea is pretty smart. Like having a little test area, I think it's very, very smart instead
A
of
lot
doing
of
the
people
whole
use
state.
the phrase guinea pig in the
Yeah.
comments. And a lot of people were commenting in every variety. Cindy said if everybody would wear a mask, yes, and
Right.
to maintain social distancing. Somebody else mentioned, well, you can social distance from other diners, but how does your server social distance from you?
Well, one thing they were talking about is like delivering food on a cart. So that way,
A robot.
It could be a robot.
We're just gonna- the
but
restaurants-
if you roll it out and then have people take it off their own, take it off the cart, then you could probably maintain 6 feet. Tricky though.
Okay. Other people say that they've gotten used to curbside. And
Yeah,
pickup.
I think a lot of restaurants are going to say, you know what, the kind of people who are going to come out in the first phase of this are
Yeah.
probably not the people who are religiously practicing social distancing.
No, I mean,
So I think some restaurants are worried about it.
I've
too.
gotten used to it, and I think I'm dining out even more often now because
Oh, you
of
think
that.
so? With
I
the
think so.
takeout? Yeah.
At least once a week, maybe twice.
Yeah. I mean, I used to dine out probably 6 times a week, and now we're doing takeout probably twice.
You're
But
not
obviously,
in the
I'm a
control
food
group.
critic,
Exactly.
so-
I don't
right.
think you're. And then, I just scanned past it. But oh yeah, Diana said we would not until there's a vaccine, presumably, because we are in a vulnerable age group.
Yeah, that's right. That's the reality. If you are in that vulnerable age group or one of the other risk areas, you're probably going to be locked down for a while. All right, interesting. I like the innovation. I like business owners thinking like, hey, maybe we could try this, and then let's have the experts see if it makes sense. All right, have a great day, everybody. This is the 734. We'll do it again tomorrow at the same time. See ya.